Midland Sports.
It is your Big 8 League champions, the Roosevelt Mustangs, here on the program. Head coach Jennifer Constable. And coach, first off, congrats. Big 8 League title. There's some good teams in the Big 8 League, and you guys went undefeated. What does that league title mean to you?
You know, I think it's a little extra special because I feel like our league is probably one of the strongest leagues out there. And even with the new teams coming out, like based on league and stuff like that, I still feel like competitive wise, we're definitely the league to beat. So being able to hold that and even holding on strong as an undefeated program really holds a good benchmark for our program. You
know, I was looking at your non-league schedule too. You played some good teams in non-league leading up to, Big 8 play. So was that by design? I mean, obviously, we'll talk playoffs in a second. You guys are Division I. Did you know in the back of your mind, like, hey, we've got to bulk up our schedule because we're going to see not only some good teams in league play, we're going to see some good teams in the playoffs too. Yeah, going into it, I started building our schedule April, May of last year. I'm just kind of reaching out, knowing what schools were going to have programs or what schools could potentially give us a good show of what we were capable of doing. We didn't want to put a very cakewalk type of schedule. We wanted to make sure we were giving our girls the best opportunity to really compete at a high level. And in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. So that was the whole plan going in is, we're going to make a mark for ourselves and we have to do it by playing some good, decent teams. Yeah, I'm looking at your schedule. I mean, you won some close games right out of the gate against Rancho Cucamonga, Don Lugo, and there was King High School. You got some shutouts on the schedule as well. Yes. What has impressed you the most, Coach, about this year's team and some of the results that you've had? Last year we had a great group of athletes. This year, these athletes became family. They work so well together. They hold each other they're accountable for everything that they do. Just the level of gameplay has been such a drastic uprising change that the younger girls emulate what they're seeing from the older girls. So they really piggyback off of what's being put on the table that was brought on since last year. Mm-hmm. And they were able to build off of that. So just the teamwork and the better understanding of what their positions are and what their job is on the field has really brought the lower kids up to their standard and then their standard even higher. Coach, we're going to check in with a couple of your players in just a second, but I think you bring up a great point. How drastically has the team improved from last year to this year? Just having more experience under their belt, like you said, just getting out there and playing and understanding the sport a little bit better, from last year to where you are right now. I mean, would you say it's a huge jump? I wouldn't say we were in a rebuild year this year, but we graduated 19 seniors last year. So and those were mainly our starters. So the kids coming up, filling those gaps really had to fill those shoes immensely. We had a lot of kids with opportunities to go play college ball. We have got several of them in college now playing. So they knew what the expectation was coming in and what us as coaches were expecting out of them. And they pushed themselves to fill those expectations time and time again. And by doing that, like I said, they brought the younger kids under their wings and really developed them that way. So seeing the growth from last year to this year has been tenfold. And it's because they have developed a pure love of the game. That's awesome. All right, Coach, let me get to some of your players as well. Let me start with Kaylee and Carissa Green. How's it going, ladies? Congrats on a great season and a league title so far.
Thank you.
All right, so Kaylee's on the left. She's the linebacker. And Carissa's on the right. She's the quarterback. So, I don't know, Kaylee, do you ever chase Carissa around in practice, being on defense and she's on offense?
Yeah, we did today.
Does that ever carry over to home, like when you're at the dinner table or anything?
No, not really. It's a good laugh to
we have fun joking about it.
So how did you gravitate to those positions though? I'm just curious, like a quarterback, a linebacker, and I'll start with Kaylee. Why defense for you?
During tryouts, my dad, he was a linebacker, and that's actually where I got my number from, number 71. So I tried to be I've been told that I was like a mini version of my dad, and so I imply it to sports also.
That's awesome. And Carissa, how about you?
So when Kaylee actually had tryouts the first year, I thought it would be fun to help her prepare for it. So I would throw the ball, and then my dad was like, "Hey, you actually have pretty good spiral." So I was like, "Oh, maybe I should try flag football." And so now I'm here.
So did you guys join at the same time, or did one of you say, I want to play? Well, it sounds like Kaylee was the one that wanted to play, right?
Yeah.
And then your dad obviously persuaded you, Carissa, like, hey, you're pretty good.
Yes.
And then how awesome is it for your dad to see you guys out there playing flag football?
Great.
Does he love it?
Yes, he does.
That is so cool. So let's talk about that Big 8 League Championship. Coach just mentioned there's some really good teams in the Big 8, so you had to beat some good teams en route to get that league title. But you guys did it 10-0. You beat everybody twice, to go undefeated. I'll ask both of you the same question. When you look back at the league season, was there a game that you felt like was maybe the most important win, or maybe there was a play that was significant, like, oh, we had to get that touchdown to get this win? Was there something that you're going to remember about this league championship that kind of stands out in your mind? And Chris, I can start with you.
Yeah. So I think the game when we played Santiago was very crucial because they were right under us in the Inland Empire. And so going to that game, we were not discouraged at all. We actually were fired up. And it helped us to drive and push throughout the whole entire game. I mean, something sparked in us throughout that game that helped us get that win. And after that, we just continue to drive every single game.
And you too, Kaylee. What was there a moment? Was there a game? Was there a play that just kind of sticks out for you?
I also agree with Santiago. Not only was it a real game changer in our stats and a real an eye opener, and to really set a mark on who we are as Roosevelt, and how she said the energy we had and the determination. We all wanted to be on that field, make a statement for ourselves and our school and for girls flag football in general. And pulling together with that win was really such a big deal for us.
So were you both on the team last year for Coach Constable?
No, Kaylee was.
Okay, so Kaylee was. So Kaylee, coming into this year, do you feel like just having that year of experience was, it's paying dividends, just being able to understand the game maybe a little bit better, just seeing game action, game speed, do you feel like coming into this year and throughout this year, you just felt like maybe you were, I don't know, maybe a step ahead of some other people who were just joining, not mentioning your sister, but some other people who were just joining?
Yes, I would say I was a huge step ahead of other people, which in my opinion was a very good thing because I was able to take some freshmen, how Coach Jem puts in perspective, the senior, they take their freshman under their wing. And I was able to be one of those for so many girls. So me being able to be a couple steps ahead from playing last year, I was able to not only help my sister and help myself, but other teammates get to where they want to be. So that way when they get older, they can do the same thing as well.
That's awesome. That's a great answer. Carissa, let me ask you just, the learning curve over the course of the season, from where you started to where you are right now. Can you see growth in your game? Do you feel more comfortable out there?
Yeah, so this is my first year as a quarterback or playing flag football at all. But just before, I had no IQ. I play softball, but and I'm a pitcher. But when I step on the field for flag football, I feel like it's a totally different game. I mean, the feeling's better, but to be able to grow my IQ during watching film and my coaches helping me and believing in me and my teammates giving me advice, I mean, I've just learned so much, and I'm very grateful for that.
Well, Carissa, that's the perfect segue because we're going to go to not only one of your favorite targets, but I assume your softball teammate as well. If you're a softball pitcher, we got Katie Ruffer on the show as well. Hi, Katie. How's it going?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Hey, Coach was telling me off camera that you've got is it a softball scholarship?
Yeah, I've recently committed to Trinity College in Connecticut to play softball, which is really exciting.
Oh, congratulations, Katie. But we're going to talk flag football, at least for right now. But congratulations on the softball commitment there. But why did you go out for flag football in the first place? I'm just curious. I love to hear stories because it sounds like, Coach Constable and some other coaches out there, they're really good about identifying, good athletes that might make a good fit for flag football. So why did you first kind of gravitate towards the sport?
Yeah, so we had heard about it, that it was going to be a new sport, and me and all the softball team were like, oh, heck yeah, we're going to do this. We were so excited for it. We went out and we tried out, and we honestly had a blast. And ever since, it's just been such a fun experience. And I think, we're all very happy that we ended up trying out for the sport, because it really honestly created so many bonds and created so many fun experiences that, Coach Jen gave us and our teammates that we're very, very thankful to have, for sure.
Now, Roosevelt obviously has an outstanding softball program. I'm curious now, how many softball players are actually playing flag football?
80% of our team.
Oh.
A lot.
That's amazing. That's awesome. That's so cool. So Katie, you're playing receiver. How did you get put at receiver?
I don't even really know. I think I was like throwing the ball with my dad or something, and I was like, okay, yeah, I guess I'll do this. And it really just stuck. I feel like it's kind of the only thing I know how to do when it comes to football. So I'm glad that it's kind of like it stuck with me so well. I feel like I've really succeeded in it. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So like I asked Kaylee and Carissa, at least specifically in Big 8 league play, was there a game, was there a moment, was there a play that you made or something when you look back at this league championship that kind of just sticks out to you about, being significant, being important, to get to that league title?
Yeah, I think like the Santiago game was really important, but I think the final game against Centennial was it was so important, because that was, our secure into being league champions. Especially because at first we had a bit of a slow start, it was kind of back and forth between the teams, and it was just kind of unlocking that, fire that I know we have as a team. And so once we did, we were just on fire, and we ended up getting to secure that. So that game was really, really important. I think definitely was a really important part in how we did this season, for sure.
Katie, I didn't realize how many, new players, or at least starting players, were on the team this year. That coach said, last year's team graduated a lot of girls, and, players had to step up, for the expectations for this team. Were you guys, maybe going into the year, at least you're like, I don't know, are we going to be good? Are we going to compete for the league title? Like, what kind of expectation did you have going into the season?
Yeah, I think we were all a little bit nervous, but, we had so many girls come and try out. We're like, okay, there's got to be some talent in here. But especially in the summer with how much we practice, it really, showed through these girls, especially the freshmen, how, good of athletes they are and how well they can adapt to a new sport. And it made them better athletes. And I think it made us better athletes too, getting to compete with some new people. But yeah, like how they kind of adjusted, and they really honestly became, great players. Some of our greatest players are freshmen. And I think that's definitely really important for, how the program is going to continue to grow. But yeah, we were definitely a little bit nervous at first, especially, with how many girls we graduated. But I think we definitely brought in a really good class for sure. Yeah.
Gosh, Katie, that's a great answer. Yeah, it sounds like the program is going to be in good hands for years to come, with a lot of younger players getting some playing time. But right now, you want to win right now. Katie, I'm going to go back to Coach to wrap things up. And Coach, obviously, you want to win right now. You got some great young players coming up, but especially for the seniors, win this season, right? So you got Olu in the playoffs. That's a tough out right there.
Yeah, like I said, if you want to be the best, you have to go after the best, right? And they definitely put us in a position to have to do that. We are preparing as best as we can to do our perfect opportunity to get a win. Lots of film, lots of breakdowns, lots of practice. We are going to go into this with the mindset of slow and steady wins the game. We're going to try to control the clock as best as we can. We've broken down their play calls and their schemes, and I've practiced those over and over again, and we'll continue to do it all week and just kind of give our girls the best opportunity to succeed on Saturday.
Well, Coach, we've been talking about the Big 8 League Championship 10-0, but you were 18-2 overall. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of those two losses, full disclosure, was against Olu. So you get a little bit of revenge, hopefully, in the playoffs here. But when the brackets came out on Saturday morning, I was anxious to see them, and there you guys were Division I, which is great. Like you want to, like you said, play the best of the best and be Division I. But I'm like, oh my gosh, they won the Big 8 League title. They go 10-0, and they send them on the road to play Olu. Like, come on.
Right. We were kind of skeptical too, because we didn't know if it was going to be a 16 or 32 team bracket for Division I. So we kind of prepare ourselves going into, it was 8:59 and we were refreshing the page, just waiting for it to release, right? So we kind of had it in our head who we were possibly going to face. So we knew that was a great possibility, having to see Olu. I think we've grown tremendously from the time we played them last. And we've adapted some new concepts that I think are going to be very beneficial to our program. So, hopefully we play our game and we stick to the plan and we come out with that win.
All right. Well, Coach, listen, congrats on an awesome season. Regardless of what happens this upcoming Saturday against Orange Lutheran, congrats on a great season, an undefeated Big 8 League championship. There's a lot to be proud of this year. And Kaylee, Carissa, Katie, thank you guys so much. Congrats on the season and best of luck on Saturday coming up against the Lancers.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That's Roosevelt girls flag football here on the Inland Sports Show. Inland Sports.